Okay, so, running an immigration law firm, it's way more than just, legal expertise. It's like this constant juggling act, right?
Right.
And I'm sure if your firm is growing, I bet you're feeling the pressure of, more and more cases. Uh, and then on top of that, having to deal with these super complex processes.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you manage everything and do it all efficiently right?
Yeah.
But you can't compromise on the details because
Yeah.
these are people's lives,
You
their
thought
futures are at stake.
huge stakes.
So it can feel really overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Trying to balance it all. So in this deep dive, what we're going to do is we're going to really zero in on a strategy that I think could be like a game changer for your firm when it comes to boosting efficiency. And that is smart outsourcing.
Interesting.
Now, we've been looking at some really cool material that goes into detail about how using external support strategically can really lighten your workload. But not just lighten it, but also maintain and even improve the quality of your services and keep those clients happy.
Yeah, that's the key, right? You
Exactly.
don't want to sacrifice quality.
Absolutely. So what we want to do today is pull out the most important insights and like practical strategies from this information
Yeah.
and really help you understand, how can outsourcing actually reshape the way your firm works? Can it lower your overhead? Can it make you even more effective?
Right. All good questions.
So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's get into it.
What's really fascinating here is how we need to kind of redefine what outsourcing actually means for a modern legal practice. It's not just, oh, I don't want to do this task, so I'm going to hand it off to somebody else.
Right.
It's more about, really strategically bringing in outside expertise
Okay.
to optimize your entire workflow,
Yeah, make it all work better.
Exactly, and build a firm that's more resilient.
I like that. More resilient.
So let's talk about virtual immigration paralegals first.
Okay.
Now, when you hear outsourcing, you might think, oh, just some basic admin stuff. Delegate that out.
Right. Just the simple tasks.
But what we're seeing is that skilled virtual paralegals can actually play a much bigger role.
Oh, wow.
They can become a real part of your team,
Interesting.
and they can help you proactively. So they're not just waiting for instructions. They're like, hey, I can take this off your plate.
I see.
And we're talking about everything from drafting those important documents
Okay.
to filing all the right forms, to keeping track of where the cases are at in the process, and even dealing with those RFEs, those requests for evidence.
Yeah, those can be a pain.
Time-consuming, for sure.
Yeah.
For instance, the source material actually talks about how they can handle things like preparing I-140 petitions
Oh,
and managing all those I-485 delay issues.
that's huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about what you could do with that extra time.
Yeah, that's a lot of time freed up.
You could have more client consultations that are really focused.
Yeah.
You could actually go to court appearances and be present
Right?
and really get down to like strategic planning for your firm's future.
You know what's interesting, too? It's not just about freeing up time. It's also about what you said before about quality. Like, if you're not bogged down with all that document drafting,
Yes.
your mind is free to focus on the bigger picture,
Yeah,
the complex legal strategy.
absolutely.
And I bet that could lead to better results for your clients.
Definitely. And happier clients, too.
Right, because they see that you're really on top of things.
So it's a win-win.
For sure. I think it's really important to highlight this because a lot of times we just think about the time-saving aspect of outsourcing.
Yes,
But there are all these other benefits that we don't always consider.
absolutely. And it ties into this idea of accessing specialized support without having to hire someone full-time in the office.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you get the expertise without the overhead.
Exactly. And if we think about it in terms of growing your firm, it lets you expand what you can do and the expertise you offer without, your costs going through the roof.
Yeah, that's smart.
So it begs the question, how much of your valuable time right now is being spent on tasks that are important,
Sure.
but maybe don't need your direct legal knowledge to get them done?
That's a great question for everyone listening to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
So building on that, let's talk up something that's really kind of mind-blowing, AI-powered virtual assistants.
Okay, AI, now we're talking.
This isn't sci-fi,
Oh, yeah.
This is happening right now. And a big advantage is they're available 24/7.
Oh, wow.
So think about it, it's like 10 o'clock at night, you're finally relaxing,
Right.
and you get a client inquiry.
Yeah.
Or it's the weekend, you're trying to have some family time.
Uh-huh.
These AI assistants can be there to answer those questions
Okay,
Get that basic info and even pre-qualify potential clients before your human team even has to get involved.
so you're saying they can actually figure out if someone's a good fit for the firm?
Yeah, one of the sources even called them a digital paralegal,
Wow.
which I thought was a really good way to think about it.
That makes sense.
They can schedule those first consultations automatically.
Okay.
They can even give general guidance on, how the visa process works.
That's amazing. So for you as the lawyer, this means you get faster response times,
Right.
happier clients who feel like they're being taken care of no matter when they reach out.
Exactly. And you're not chained to your phone 24/7.
That's huge for work-life balance, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting of, the impact this can have on client satisfaction.
Okay.
Because especially in immigration law,
Right.
it's such a crucial area. People are stressed, they're worried.
Of course.
So that feeling that they can get help or information anytime, even if it's outside of normal business hours,
Right.
that can really build trust and confidence.
Absolutely. It shows you care.
Exactly. And it also frees up your human paralegals.
Oh, right.
They can focus on the more complex parts of cases, the things that really need a human touch.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those client interactions a bit more. What about virtual receptionists?
Oh, yeah. This is another good one. So what we've been reading really emphasizes the importance of having a professional answering service.
Sure.
And I don't just mean someone picking up the phone.
Right.
It's about having that consistent, prompt, and professional service every time.
Every single time.
Every single time someone calls, whether it's a potential client or an existing client.
That's so important for first impressions.
Absolutely. And these virtual receptionists, they can handle those first calls, the intake calls.
Okay.
They can schedule consultations. They can even manage payments.
Wow. So they're handling a lot.
One of the sources called it having an extra set of hands, but without the cost of actually hiring someone.
That's a great analogy.
So for you, this means, everyone who calls your firm is getting a good first impression. You're not missing calls.
Right.
You're not bogged down with all those routine phone tasks.
You can focus on the legal work.
Exactly. And I think this really highlights how powerful it can be to delegate strategically and specialize.
Right.
You're basically saying, okay, these tasks are important, but they don't necessarily need me to do them.
Yeah. Let the experts handle it.
And let me focus on my core strengths,
Exactly.
Giving expert legal advice, coming up with strategies for my clients.
Makes sense.
And now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something that can totally revolutionize the way your firm operates internally.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Automated case management.
Interesting.
So the material we looked at specifically mentions CRM systems as a key solution here.
CRM, okay.
Customer relationship management systems, like HubSpot, for example.
I've heard of that.
Think of a CRM like this. It's your central hub for all your client interactions, all the details about their cases,
Okay.
all your communications. It makes sure nothing gets lost in the shuffle.
That's so important.
It's all about managing communication across all those different channels,
Right.
phone calls, emails, even those AI chatbots we talked about.
Oh, right.
It's all in one place,
So it's organized.
super organized, and then it automates tracking and managing all that data throughout the entire life of a case.
Wow.
From the very first meeting all the way to the resolution.
So no more digging through files
No more digging through files.
or worrying about missing deadlines.
No more worrying about missing deadlines.
That's a huge relief.
Right. Think of all the hours you or your team spend right now just looking for information.
Yeah, it's a lot of wasted time.
Or trying to remember when you're supposed to follow up with someone.
Right, right.
A good CRM takes care of all that for you.
So what you're saying is it reduces the chance of human error, too.
Yes.
Exactly. Which, as you know, is incredibly important in legal work.
Huge. Absolutely crucial.
So it makes you think, how much time are we all spending on these admin tasks that could be automated reliably and accurately?
Right. Why are we doing it ourselves if a machine can do it better?
Exactly. So now let's talk about getting new clients in the door.
Oh, this lead generation.
Being proactive about it with what's called smart client acquisition.
I like that smart client acquisition.
So the material we reviewed outlines a really effective approach.
Okay.
It combines targeted digital advertising
Okay.
with those streamlined virtual consultations that are so popular now.
Right, like on Zoom.
Exactly. And the key here is focusing on what they call high-intent keywords.
High-intent keywords, interesting.
These are the specific phrases that someone who's actively looking for legal help
Okay.
would probably type into a search engine.
I see.
So, for example, USCIS delay help.
Okay.
Or mandamus lawyer.
Right.
So by targeting those specific searches,
you're way more likely to connect with people who actually need your firm's expertise.
you're not just casting a wide net and hoping for the best.
Exactly. You're going right to the people who are already looking for you.
That's smart.
And then once you've got their attention, it's all about converting them into clients.
Right.
So the source material talks about using automated reminders,
Okay.
making sure your follow-up communication is personalized, even using targeted promotions to nurture those initial inquiries.
Right. Keep them warm.
Exactly. Build those relationships. And they even suggest, think about doing group Zoom sessions.
Oh, wow.
Focused on hot topics in immigration law.
That's a cool idea.
Right. It's a really efficient way to reach a lot of potential clients at once.
And it positions you as an expert, too.
Exactly.
So it's like a win-win.
And this whole approach really shows how important it is to understand your target audience.
Okay.
Know where they are, what they're looking for.
Mhm.
And, these days people are online. That's where they're searching for information.
So meet them where they are.
Exactly. And by focusing on their pain points, what are they struggling with?
Yeah.
And offering solutions that are convenient.
Right.
Like those virtual consultations.
Yeah.
You're not just passively waiting for leads to come in.
You're going out and getting them.
You're attracting qualified prospects who are much more likely to become clients.
That's a much better use of your time and resources.
And to show you how well this can work in the real world,
Okay.
the source material actually gives an example of an immigration law firm
Okay.
that did all of this.
Wow.
They connected everything from their initial client intake to their case tracking systems.
Right.
And get this, they saw a 300% increase in lead form submissions.
300%.
300% in 1 month.
That's incredible.
Their intake process was totally seamless. Payments went through without a hitch. Client communication was streamlined. And here's the kicker. The attorneys didn't even have to be super involved in those early stages.
So they could focus on the legal work.
Exactly. And the source material says, you listening to this, you can get these same results in your practice.
That's really powerful.
It is, right? It shows that this stuff actually works.
It's not just theory.
And it's important to point out, it wasn't just about getting more leads.
Right.
It was about getting better leads.
Okay.
More qualified leads.
Right.
And making the whole client journey smoother and more efficient.
Yeah, making a good experience for everyone.
Exactly. So to sum it all up,
Okay.
the main message here is that smart outsourcing isn't just about saving a few hours here and there.
It's more strategic than that.
It's about making a decision that's going to have a big impact.
Okay.
It's about improving how efficient your firm is, boosting the quality of your work,
Right.
and setting yourself up for growth that's sustainable,
Yeah, you can keep growing without burning out.
Exactly. So we've covered some really powerful tools and strategies in this deep dive. Those virtual immigration paralegals who can be such a valuable part of your team.
Right.
Those AI-powered assistants who are like your 24/7 support staff.
Right.
And those professional virtual receptionists who make sure you never miss a call. And then, of course, those automated CRM systems that keep everything organized and running smoothly.
The central nervous system of your firm.
I like that, the central nervous system.
Yeah.
And the source material really emphasizes that using these outsourcing strategies strategically is how you build what they call a lean, efficient powerhouse.
Okay.
It's an immigration law firm that can give amazing client service and manage its costs effectively.
Makes sense.
So they say the best time to act is now.
Don't wait.
And if you use smart outsourcing, your firm can operate so much more smoothly than ever before.
I believe it.
And if you want to explore these outsourcing services in more detail, the source actually gives you contact info. You can email them at info@imisupport.com
Okay.
or call 888-884-2161.
Great.
So as you're thinking about everything we talked about, here's a question I think is really worth pondering.
Yeah.
What's the one area in your practice right now that's the biggest challenge for you?
Okay.
Is it time? Is it all the admin work? Is it the potential for making mistakes?
Right.
Now imagine if you could streamline that area by using outsourcing in a smart way.
Okay.
What kind of impact would that have on your firm?
Right.
Not just on your bottom line, but on the level of service you can give to your clients.
That's a great question.
To the people who are trusting you with their future.
It really makes you think.
Food for thought.
Absolutely.